Hello and welcome, I'm Miraj and I'm filling in for Nikita for this episode of Tech It Out. In this week's episode, we're looking at mobility. We're going to look at battery-operated trains, solar-powered cars, and we're even going to look at a hybrid that can float, glide, and skim over water. We are going to put you on your guard to the latest scam that is going to hit your phone on WhatsApp. And finally, we'll show you drones that aren't dropping bombs, they aren't in combat, but are in fact life positive. That and more in this episode of Tech It Out. WhatsApp. Whoever thought an innocuous messaging app could become such a hub for propaganda and fake news? But it's not just the elderly who get taken in by scamsters. These days, con artists on WhatsApp devise incredibly sophisticated schemes to defraud people of their hard-earned cash. Here's the latest trick in the book, folks. I wish I could say it was the last.
Hi, ma'am. I am Leo. You're one of the few lucky draw winners.
We're calling from your bank to verify a transaction.
You have won a $100
I'm a
gift
representative
card.
from the National Highway. I need your details to resolve a banking issue.
Hello, I am talking
Could you please
from
come on a WhatsApp
Inclusive
video
Bank.
call?
For many, receiving a call regarding a problem with their bank account can be alarming. But what if the person on the other end says the fix is simple? Just share your screen on WhatsApp. Stop right there. That's not a fix. It might just be a trap. A new type of scam is duping WhatsApp users into losing their hard-earned money. We're talking about the WhatsApp screen mirroring scam.
Could you please switch on WhatsApp's screen sharing feature?
In this scam, criminals often pose as bank representatives or customer support staff. They call the victim, often claiming that they need to resolve a problem with their bank account or that they have won a special prize or reward. Under the guise of a tutorial or verification, fraudsters persuade the victim to switch from a voice call to a WhatsApp video call, and once that happens, criminals then trick the victim into enabling WhatsApp's screen sharing feature. And this is where the trap is set. The moment the victim shares the screen, the criminal gains a live, real-time view of everything that's on the screen. In some cases, criminals even instruct victims to open their banking app. And since they can see the victim's screen, they take note of every little detail being put on the banking app, such as the victim's username, password, and account balance. So, how can you stay safe? Firstly, if someone calls claiming to be from your bank or a company, don't trust them on their word alone. They can fake their caller ID. Make sure to verify their identity. Secondly, no legitimate bank or company will ever ask you to share your screen with them. This is a major red flag. And thirdly, if you receive a suspicious call or message, report it to the relevant authorities immediately. Remember, the best way to safeguard your savings is to be cautious and aware of potential scams.
For children, it won't seem like much of an innovation, but we adults aren't quite as imaginative. So battery-operated trains have finally transitioned from toys into real-world transportation. Then we have a proper transformer, a glider hydrofoil boat that can float, skim over water, and even fly on a cushion of air. Finally, we have those magnificent men in their solar-powered machines racing across the desert. Have a look.
Mobility has always been at the heart of human progress, from the invention of the wheel to aircraft soaring through the sky. Each one of these innovations has reshaped how we connect, trade, and explore. Today, that journey is entering a bold new chapter. Electric power and advanced engineering are driving innovations once thought impossible. The future of mobility isn't just about how fast we go, but how we can move with the planet and not against it. Railways have long driven the evolution of human mobility. They carried industries, shaped cities, and connected people, shrinking distances and bringing us closer than ever before. Now, as the world shifts towards cleaner energy, railways are again becoming a testing ground for innovation. In the United Kingdom, that innovation has just set a new world record for the longest distance travelled by a battery-powered train on a single charge.
Today we've broken
the record for the longest distance travelled on a single charge by a battery train. We've done just over 200 miles and that's broken the record by quite some distance overnight. It's an important achievement for the UK rail industry to be able to do that because it demonstrates the viability of battery technology to power trains in the future.
Equipped with 6 high-capacity battery packs, the train ran at an average speed of 35 to 38 miles per hour. Even at the end of its epic journey, the train's battery still held more than 22% of its charge, which was just enough to cover another 60 miles if needed. To push the train to its record-breaking 200-mile target, engineers had to conserve every single electron. Non-essential systems were cut back, ensuring maximum power was reserved for traction.
So to make sure that we achieved the target, which was to break the record and stretch that to 200 miles, we had to make sure that the auxiliary loads, so the things that use energy that are not just driving the train along, were kept to a bare minimum. And we needed to understand what is the bare minimum and what does that mean? Is it because we would have questions like, well, can we have laptops on, and does that make a difference? Does the lighting make a difference? All that sort of stuff.
This record-breaking run isn't just a milestone in distance. It's a turning point for the entire rail industry, proving that battery technology can power long journeys reliably and efficiently. Australia recently hosted the 2025 edition of the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. The 3,000-kilometre event from Darwin in Australia's north to Adelaide in the south is one of the most prestigious solar car races in the world.
Innovation challenges like this are historically a really important way to push the bleeding edges of technology sets. You know, there's all sorts of races throughout time that have been used to do that. And this Bridgestone World Solar Challenge for 40 years now has been iterating and evolving electric mobility in the first instance, you know, just riding on electricity rather than internal combustion engine technology, and tapping sunshine direct, you know, using solar power in all sorts of new ways at better efficiency. And effectively they've turned the Sturt Highway into a 3,000-kilometre sandbox to just create new, better, faster ways of driving on sunshine.
34 cars representing 17 countries participated in the race. They were divided into 3 categories. The Challenger class featured speed-focused, single-seaters built for endurance and efficiency. The Cruiser class showcased multi-seat vehicles designed with practicality in mind. And the Explorer class opened doors for experimental designs that pushed the boundaries of solar technology.
It's important to improve the cars we've got because for about 100 years we really haven't upgraded them. You know, they've been blowing up petrol and turning pistons and this kind of crazy old school internal combustion engine, which we also have learnt more lately in the late 20th century is causing global warming. We've got to get off and just do better.
This year's race was nicknamed the Battle of the Fins, a testament to the new fin technology used by the teams to gain an edge in stability, aerodynamics and speed.
I bet you in 10 years' time we'll all be taking it for granted that the cars coming out have, you know, weird little foils and things that, you know, you're wondering how they came up with that. Well, here you go. This is how they came up with it. It was tested by these teams on this trip, on this track at this time.
Held once every 2 years, the race showcases the future of transportation, where solar-powered cars might one day become the norm on our city streets. It's not just the land, the sea is also witnessing a quiet revolution of its own. Gliding just above the waves of Narragansett Bay in Massachusetts is a vessel straight out of the future, the Paladin, better known as the Sea Glider. The part boat, part aircraft vessel promises to cut down the journey from Rhode Island to New York City to under an hour, a route that usually takes at least 3 hours by train and even longer on traffic-clogged freeways.
A Sea Glider is an all-electric flying boat. It is meant for regional coastal transportation to solve the problems of routes that are just too long to drive and you're stuck in traffic, or to fly where it's too expensive and you're stuck in the airport longer than you're in the airplane. A sea glider operates in 3 modes: float, foil, and fly. So you board it at the dock like a boat, then you rise up on hydrofoils that we take from the America's Cup. That gives us high wave tolerance in the harbor. And then we fly on a cushion of air over the surface of the water, just like a bird flies on.
Powered by electricity, the Sea Glider's 65-foot wingspan is equipped with 12 humming propellers. These propellers help it float, foil, and eventually fly. The vessel is lifted by a phenomenon known as ground effect, allowing it to skim a cushion of air just a few meters above the sea.
And so by compressing that air under the wings, between the wing and the water, sea gliders, low-flying birds, anything that flies low, gets this tremendous lift augmentation, this flight boost to give us long range and very efficient travel.
During a recent trial, a prototype named Viceroy demonstrated the Sea Glider's 3 modes of movement. It began like a boat at the dock, then rose on hydrofoils, before seamlessly transitioning into flight mode at speeds of up to 180 miles per hour.
So right now, when seaplanes and flying boats try to take off from the water, they're slapping the surface of the water. They have very poor wave tolerance, and that's why they're constrained to inland waterways, lakes and rivers. Sea gliders, by contrast, have a hydrofoil. That's an underwater wing. We're taking that from the sailing world, the racing world, America's Cup and Sail GP. These underwater wings called hydrofoils lift the sea glider out of the surface of the water, giving us 5 feet of wave tolerance. So that's basically a hurricane, allowing us to accelerate up to about 50 to 60 miles an hour before we take off on the wing.
More than being just a vessel, the Sea Glider represents a vision for coastal mobility where the ocean is no longer a barrier but an open highway.
Drones. They've become almost synonymous with warfare. Now don't roll your eyes, we feel exactly the same way about things, which is why we loved these stories. Drones being used to clean up all the muck leading up to the world's highest peak, to geotagging whales, to reforesting vast swathes of the Canadian wilderness. It's not about the technology, it's about what we use it for, folks. So don't be prejudiced.
Drones are often associated with surveillance and conflict, but they are now playing a vital role in a very different mission: protecting our planet. These versatile flying robots are now helping monitor wildlife, combat deforestation, and even restore ecosystems. Let's explore how drones are becoming a powerful force for conservation, one flight at a time. The traditional approach to whale research is a slow, difficult, and often invasive one. This includes trailing the whales on boats and waiting for the perfect moment to attach monitoring tags with a long pole. But now, researchers have found a smarter way. It's called the tap-and-go drone system. Using this system, researchers are able to gently place suction tags from a distance, non-invasively and with far less disturbance.
Drone tagging seems to elicit much calmer responses from the whales, as well as does not invade the whale's personal space, such as methods like pole tagging. It is a method in which we get in and get out as quickly as possible while producing the same quality of research and even better quality research.
The whale monitoring tags are more than just trackers. They function like mini computers, recording dives, communication sounds, migration routes, and even behavioral patterns. The tap-and-go method has already been tested on sperm whales off Dominica in the Caribbean. Using modified first-person view racing drones, Harvard University and Project SETI researchers were able to attach suction tags to the whales' backs in just over a minute. A significant improvement over the 3 to 5 minutes usually needed for traditional pole tagging.
So for the last decade, we've really been thinking about how can we use robots to interact with marine life in the most gentle way possible. And it's a constant evolution. We get gentler and gentler and gentler as the collaboration goes on.
With a success rate of more than 55%, the drone system is proving to be a promising alternative. The best part, not only is this method faster, but it is also safer, cost-effective and less disruptive to the whales.
The 55% success rate stems from, one, there being water along the animal's back, which makes an improper vacuum for our very gentle whale tags. And secondly, sometimes if the drone goes up but we deem it unsafe to tag at that moment, we will not tag, so the drone will be recalled.
However, rougher sea conditions and the need for skilled piloting remain a challenge. Researchers say it could open the door to fully automated tagging in the future, accelerating global whale conservation efforts. Drones are proving to be just as crucial in reforestation efforts. In Canada, they're being deployed over vast stretches of forest reduced to ashes by the mega fires of 2023. Rather than waiting decades for nature to recover on its own, a Canadian startup, Flash Forest, is using drones to jumpstart reforestation. These drones drop seeds encased in capsules packed with water, nutrients and fungi. Each flight can plant up to 50,000 trees a day.
We use machine learning to map out the sites ahead of time. So we delineate our areas using machine learning modeling, and then we pick our right sites based on climate variables, based on physical attributes, topographic variables, to make sure we're putting the seeds in the right place.
To maximize success, the company mostly focuses on recently burned areas to give the new seeds the best chance for survival. Steering clear of older burn sites where plants may have already started to regrow. Drones aren't just aiding in conserving marine and forest ecosystems, they're also taking flight to protect even the most extreme environments. We're talking about Mount Everest. Over 12,000 climbers have summited the world's tallest peak since Edmund Hillary and Tenzin Norgay made it to the top in 1953. The base camp hosts almost 40,000 visitors every year. Scattered across the snowfields are torn tents, food wrappers, empty oxygen bottles, and even human waste, left behind by climbers who came, conquered, and never cleaned up. Despite multiple large-scale cleanup drives, Mount Everest continues to struggle with a significant waste problem. An estimated 40 to 50 tons of garbage still remain scattered across the mountain. This is where drones come into the picture. In June 2025, a Nepal-based drone delivery company was given the green light to use its drones for removing garbage from the area. This came after the company Airlift Technology successfully completed a trial run in April 2024.
It is not just wars where the drones are used, it is also used to save lives and also protect the environment. So we have to see drone technology as a future where the climate, from the environment aspect, and also from the humanitarian aspect, this is going to be a game changer.
The same technology aiding conservation could also risk disrupting the very habitats it seeks to protect. Drones flying too close to whales or dolphins may cause them stress or even alter their behavior. Similarly, in forests, the constant buzz and frequent flights of drones could disturb nesting birds and other wildlife. Conservationists warn that while drones are powerful tools, they must be used responsibly, or they risk disrupting the very fragile ecosystems they are meant to save.
The wheel has probably been the most important human invention in history. Today the world has become a pretty small place, but strangely enough, we humans have become more rooted than ever. Technology can make things possible. It can make them easier, more convenient perhaps, but there's no escaping the tough calls to move to change cities, to change careers, to get out of our comfort zones will always be an inherently human struggle. Strangely enough, in the age of AI, that feels pretty darn good. On that note, folks, have a great weekend. This is Miraj signing out. Bye-bye.